Okay, so we've established a set driven key relationship. We have a driver, the vertebra on top, and we have the driven vertebra below, and the driver's rotation x is driving the driven's rotation x in kind of an inverse relationship. So when the driver is positive, driven is negative, and vice versa. But we have the problem where the driver can move and rotate actually in a limitless range, and that's going to create problems. For example, I don't want ever to have the driver do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is go back and set the driver to 0. Okay, so I'm going to select the group. That's my driver. And I'm going to go to the attribute editor. And by default, you usually come up with a window that looks like this. What I want to find is this category called limit information. And I want to establish the minimum and maximum rotation x. So I can do any one of these things, but in this case, since rotation is the only attribute we're editing, I'm going to use it. So I could actually go to the channel box and select values and use them to create my maximum or minimum. But since we know those values, I'm going to select, and I'm going to say my max is 6 and my minimum is -6. Okay, now see if this current, okay, would change as I move. Okay, so what's happened now is I can't make the driver exceed +6 or -6. If I didn't know those numbers and I was just doing it by eye, in other words, I was looking at that relationship and saying, okay, then I could take this number and literally click this arrow and it would make it the minimum. Okay, so now we've got a relationship with a set driven key, and there's nothing to prevent we now have limited the range so that our driver can never go too far out of range or move too dramatically, and the driven will always obey or follow that relationship.